Miami, Miami, Miami. It feels like Miami.
Welcome to the Miami Heat Beat post-game show. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas, and with me today, we got the Draft Beat co-founder, Franky G.
Game and a half back of Portland. Streak continues. Let's go.
We got Kyle Scarlett. Same. And we have, fresh off of a trip to France,
Paris.
it is Alphonse Sidney.
Like they say in France, this team is basura.
Alf, you missed exactly one win during your stint in France. And that was like the first day you were gone.
I think all of us missed that win too.
I think
I don't think anybody watched that game. If a win happened but nobody watched it, does it count?
I don't even remember the last time this team won a basketball game. I can't tell you what that game was.
Bro, how bad are the Raptors? Like, I don't know.
I mean, they stink. We stink. Everybody stinks. Welcome to the postgame show. Shout out to YouTube. Shout out to Twitch. Shout out to all you people in chat. Listen, we're going to go to the Tankathon at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. We're going to see where the Heat land today. That's 5 losses in a row, people. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4.
You know what?
Second longest streak in basketball.
Do you know what pisses me off? It's not even like they can't get to 11th.
Coaching.
They can't get to 11th. Like, so we're going to have to watch a play-in game. Like for like the third year in a row, we're going to have to watch a play-in game
against the Bulls.
Just fucking put me out of my misery, for God's sake.
You know what the worst part's going to be? They're going to win one of those. They're going to win that play-in game, and then
you
we
have
have
too
to
much
watch
faith.
Why do you have
any faith in this fucking team?
No, because I don't want to watch the second play-in game. I would like them to lose in the first play-in game. I'm at that point. I don't want to watch them anymore. Alf, you went on vacation with your beautiful family. I don't think you missed this team.
No, I didn't miss this fucking team.
You didn't miss any of it.
Bullshit.
You were free. You were happy.
You barely missed us, honestly.
No, listen, I barely missed America. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, get out of here. Like,
you came back. The stocks are gone. The schools are closing. Everything's computer.
No, like, listen, man. Like, honestly, the most frustrating thing is, like, what are the answers? Like, they don't play Terry that much. Bam goes crazy. Bam doesn't go crazy.
Terry was a neutral.
They get a double-digit lead. They don't have a double-digit lead. No matter what, they find a way to lose. Like, they had a point in the game where they were down 3, could cut it to 2, cut it to 1. Wiggins goes to the line, misses 2 free throws. Clippers go on a 7-2 run. Now you're going into the fourth quarter down 8. Like, an 8-point deficit with this team is insurmountable. Insurmountable. And, like, yeah, I think, like, at one point, they were down 14 with like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and I tweeted, they have to outscore the Clippers by 15 points over 8 minutes. I'm not sure this team could score 15 points in 8 minutes in an empty gym. Like, they will just find every single way to lose. Like, it's almost impressive. And like Bam, like, just if he played a smidgen of the game he's been playing the last few weeks, like, they have a chance in this game. Instead, he decides to have like one of the worst games I've ever seen from him. In the fourth quarter, he just decided he was not even going to try to score against Zubac.
He had 7 field goal attempts, which is insane. How little? Like 7? I mean,
he wasn't even trying. Listen, put a big doofy European on the other side of Bam, negates him completely. Doesn't know what the fuck to do. Just completely negates everything about his game. Like, he sees a big doofy European, it just completely shuts him down.
Alf, to your point, and I think we extrapolate a lot from tonight to just what you said, that we've talked so much all season. Play Haywood more. Play Duncan. Don't play Rozier that much.
Doesn't matter.
Don't play Hawkes. Play this guy. 2 bigs. Play Highsmith more. Play Larson. They've done everything. Everything. And they still have they've lost 5 straight fucking game. I don't remember the last time they lost 5 straight games.
But
It's
no,
been a
G,
while.
it's not about.
It was last year.
G,
Was it?
it's not about them losing. It's not about 5 straight games. It's about the Bulls. It's about the Hornets.
Yeah.
It's about the Clippers on a back-to-back
without Kawhi.
their coach, without Kawhi
That's
Leonard,
right.
after losing by 7 to the fucking Pelicans, losing 7 of their last 8 road games on a 4-game road losing streak, coming in and looking like it was light work.
And you're rested.
And you're rested. And you have no injuries outside of Jovic to really speak of. So I keep getting in these back and forths on Twitter. It's a talent issue. How can it always be a talent issue when you're facing less talented teams? Like, it can't be a talent issue versus the Bulls, who are decimated by injury. It can't be a talent issue against the Hornets, who don't have Brandon Miller, who are one of the worst fucking teams in the league. Like, you continuously lose to bad teams who have zero talent. Like, you just can't tell me with a starting lineup with 3 guys who have been all-stars, with a Rookie of the Year candidate, and Davion Mitchell, who we all agree is a very good player. Like, you cannot tell me that this team is completely out-talented every single night. Now, I'm not saying this team is a world beater by any means, right? We know this team is aggressively mid, but what we've seen over the last 2 weeks is not aggressively mid. It's worst team in the league type shit. And I refuse to believe that this roster with this talent is worst team in the league, like quality-wise. I'm sorry.
Where does that leave you?
That leaves me with the fact that there is a fundamental failure on every fucking level of this organization.
Much like our government.
We talked about exhaustively, to the coaching staff, which we talked about exhaustively, and to the roster that we've talked about exhaustively. Like, at this point, like, for anybody yelling at me for saying fucking Spo is trash this year, like, and then countering it with the roster's bad. Yes, the roster's bad. Yes, the front office is bad. And yes, the coaching staff is bad. Stop arguing with me about which one's worse. They all fucking suck. Like, everything is bad this year.
Everything's bad. You're right. And it's top to bottom. And I can't even say it's like they're not. I mean, this team plays with effort. It's not like they fucking roll over and die. They're just bad. But they're more talented, Frankie, than the other guys that they play. I think Alf made a great point. It's not a talent issue against the Hornets, the Bulls, all these other shitty teams that they lose to. They're probably more talented than the Hawks that are ahead of them. And I agree with Alf. It's just.
What's this team's identity? What are they good at? Are they a good defense?
Yeah. No.
Are they a good offense?
No.
So why are we saying this team is talented? Has any talent? Has that talent?
No.
Right.
See, no, but we're talking about the players on the team.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter. You play 5-on-5. It's a team. It's a team.
Okay, but no. We're
team,
talking about. So Frankie,
Alf, hold on. Let me. You guys have been talking for 10 minutes. I haven't said it. We haven't said it.
Go ahead. Go. I'm sorry. 9 minutes and 34 seconds.
Who does this team complement? Like, think about it. Does it complement Tyler? Is there enough two-way talent and shooting to complement talent? Tyler, is there enough two-way talent, ball handlers, guys who can get into the paint to lift Bam up, to get him lobs and stuff? Once they figured out, play him short and take away the lob, he hasn't been able to be effective. You put Mass on where he can't guard those kind of guys. You put bigs on Bam, he can't get by them. He can't score on them. Where's the consistency? Tyler just went through a stretch where he couldn't score consistently. This is his first time finishing above 50% like this calendar year against a team above 500. They don't have as much talent as we think they do. Wiggins is asked to do way too much. He doesn't have the ball handling, and he was playing well tonight. And then they found out, hey, this guy can't dribble as well as he needs to, as they need him to. They don't have the size to combat with this guy. This team was a horrible matchup for them because they can play with one big, and the Heat couldn't match up with them. When they went small, they played better, but Highsmith was getting killed. They have nobody to defend against Harden, and Harden, even though Harden had a bad shooting game, he fucking picked them apart. He got to the line 13 times. How many fucking he shot three 3-point free throws, I think.
Yeah.
Like this team is not as good as we pretend. Like you said, Alf, 22. They had the 1 seed, and every year they lost talent. And this team isn't that good. They're very young. They're not very experienced. A lot of these guys, and they're not very experienced playing together. A lot of these guys are new on the roster, new to this team, new to this organization, new to the league. They don't complement each other well. How many guys can you say are good on both ends of the court? Like, there's a lot to lack, and like like you guys said, we've called for everything. Spo has listened. Spo has changed shit up. It works for one game, and then 5 games in a row it doesn't work. So like, I think we just got to be honest with ourselves. This team isn't that good. There's going to be the schedule is going to get really brutal right now. This was the first game where it gets really, really brutal.
Boston Friday, Memphis on a back-to-back after that. I mean, that's just the start.
This team has more talent than the 2021 team. The 2021 team had fucking Jimmy Butler, you fucking moron.
Did somebody in chat say that?
Yes, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This team has more talent than that 21 team. Jimmy Butler is not on this fucking team. He is an all NBA player, an all-star level player. You see what he's done to the fucking Warriors. One fucking addition for them, and that's it. Like, that's the difference for them. Kyle, go ahead. You haven't gotten to say anything.
I mean, my perspective on all of this is so different. They're a bad team, but I think Dan mentioned it during the interview earlier today. It's easy to lose games. It's hard to win games. Not a cop-out, but once you're in a losing streak, getting the win out of the losing streak is the most difficult thing ever, because teams, doesn't matter if the team's coming off on a back-to-back, doesn't matter if the team's rested or not. When you're losing, the losses can just pile. And especially if you're, E-Reed mentioned it again, the body language. He's mentioned it over the last 5 games, just the body language of the players during this loss, this losing streak. That's what happens when you lose games. I mean, it sucks because we're talking about it, and obviously, we're fans and everything, but I don't think we want them to win more than they want themselves to win. And granted, it looks like, oh, well, why won't they just win games? It's bad. It's like, you're not going to hit threes. Shots that teams don't typically have guys making are going to make shots. Like, all kinds of stuff are going to happen when you lose, when you're in a losing streak. So for 5 games, they've sucked. I mean, they've been mid all year anyway. And these kinds of games are going to happen anyway. When you're a middling team, especially with the way that the league has been so far this year, just like any team can be any team any given night. And so if you're going to be mid on offense and mid on defense, you're going to get beat. You're going to lose to teams. It doesn't matter. The league is talented, and that's just what it's going to be. So now, to me, I'm not really too upset with this because we know what they are. Mm-hmm. I would love to say that there's as Spo has been saying over the last 5 games, and Alf has been pulling out the little hair he has in his head. There's something beautiful on the other side. Yeah, I would love to say that, but like, the season is wrapping up, guys. Like, what are we? G, you've asked this anytime you're on. What are they playing for? They're not playing for a championship. They're not playing to celebrate a play-in win. So like, they're just playing at this. I feel like they're just coasting through the games. If we had to put a kind of like a stamp on it, like, they're going through the motions of the games. They're getting up and going through the practices. They're getting up and they're starting and they're playing and all this type of stuff. But when you go through the motions, you're going to continue to lose games. It doesn't matter what Spo throws out there. It doesn't matter how much effort. It doesn't matter how much skin Pelle leaves on the damn floor. It does not matter. That's what's going to happen. Now, granted, it's 5 games. It's not Detroit where they lost 28 straight games without a win. So I'm not, in perspective, it could be dramatically worse. And we could be, down to 7 guys and a whole bunch of guys just completely injured. So
did you insinuate that Alf's losing his hair?
I thought you said Spo.
Oh, I thought you said.
No, he said Alf pulling his hair out. He
I
didn't-
thought you said
Yeah,
I'm
yours.
pulling the little hair he has left, and I go,
Whoa,
what do you-
whoa,
what do
whoa,
you-
whoa!
I was like, what do you mean by?
I don't think he said that. Jeez.
The point is
You want to start an incident, young man?
I'm watching. I'm on the TL and I'm watching Alf go back and forth with people. He's like, "You guys." He's going back to old Alf, in my opinion. The Alf that called me a bitch in front of everybody.
We need some of that. These
He
people
was
on
like,
Twitter.
Somebody has to have some
"You're
fire."
Stupid. You guys are dumb as hell. Look at this. What are you defending? What are we? You're defending more than they're defending. So it's one of those things where, I'm in the middle. I'm as mid as they are. I'm in the middle, dead center, where it's like, you know what? Look, if you're not going to put forth effort, like, to me, if you have a guy laying it out to get a ball in a regular season game, like it's a playoff game with Pelle, that should get your team going. And yeah, they got the crowd going for a little bit.
No, but then they just do stupid shit again. It's just like the same. And okay, and so Frankie, I didn't mean to cut you off earlier.
No, you're good. You're good.
I didn't mean to cut you off because that's what I did. But I shot myself. But like the thing about, so here's the thing. Yes, they are not a great team. They're not even a good team, right? They're a middling team. Okay. But my whole argument is that yes, the roster doesn't quite fit. But even though, like, we've talked about the fact that, like, this new starting lineup on paper looks like it kind of works, right? Like, we have the bigs, like we have a defensive point guard next to Tyler. We have Andrew Wiggins, who kind of is a two-way player a little bit. Like, so we're not saying it's a great lineup, but we're saying it's better than the fucking Hornets. It's better than the fucking Bulls. It's better than all these blown leads all throughout the season. Like, how many 17, 18, 19-point leads are they going to blow throughout the year? So that's my whole point. I'm not saying that they should be winning all these games.
No,
right?
of course.
No,
My point is that they are just like, there's something wrong here. And it goes beyond the roster construction. It goes beyond talent. And at that point, and if it was any other team, and if it was any other coach, and this is my biggest problem, if it was any other coach, if we were sitting here where we were watching the Cavs with the same roster, or just any other team with the same roster, we would be like, yo, they need to do something about that coach. We would all be saying it. But the problem is we're also fucking entrenched in Eric Spoelstra being this fucking god, and the Heat organization having this fucking this otherworldly ability to create and find talent, that we are sitting here and we are not calling a spade, and we're not being truly critical of this team the way it's supposed to be. Like, any other coach would be on a fucking hot seat right now.
Right.
Any other coach in this league, except for Greg fucking Popovich or Steve Kerr. These are the only three guys that have this fucking leeway. And I'm not saying to fire Spo. I'm not doing the fire Spo thing. But I will say that needs to be fucking questioned. Like, because if you're talking about the team is the team is playing hard. The team has a decent amount of talent. Not a great amount of talent, but a decent amount of talent. Enough to beat the Bulls and the Hornets, right? And they continue to lose these games. Is it scheme?
Yes, I think.
And if it's scheme, who the fuck creates the scheme? It ain't Bam, right? So if it's scheme, because I'm watching them lose guys all the time. Are they not listening to Spo? Because if they're not listening to Spo, then that's a fucking problem. They're checked out. And if they are listening to Spo, and that's what it looks like, they're supposed to. Either way, there's some questions about.
There's problems for sure, and they need to be honest with each other and fucking look for the answers. Like, I don't doubt Spo is trying shit, and like that article, I think it was Anthony Chang's article, if I'm not mistaken, that came out today, talking about like that Spo, Kevin Love saying that Spo is working harder than he's ever worked before since Kevin Love's been here and stuff. Like, I don't doubt Spo as a good coach. I know none of us do, or none of us are saying fire him and stuff. And I'm not saying he isn't part of the problem, but I'm saying, like, this whole, I thought this season was like gonna be a mess from the fucking beginning, and none of this fucking surprises me. Like their performance on the court, their like issues off the court, with the Jimmy saga and everything. Chat says Troppy Baby isn't holding Spo accountable. Absolutely, that's an issue. Always an issue. Shout out to Alex Salido, working for SI now, right? For SI, make sure you check those out. We've been retweeting them on the Heat Beat social networks. But yeah, like Chat says, shouldn't Spo have that leeway? Like, yeah, of course. But we should also be able to question him when things aren't going right. I think the team has not been honest with themselves since 22, and they keep thinking that 23, that run wasn't the exception. They felt like things fell into place instead of like this was all miracle. When we were watching those games live, we were talking about this team has a lot of issues. Like they're getting by, but this team has a lot of issues that they need to fucking start course correcting. Bam individually as a scorer had a lot of issues. He was scoring in those finals, but it wasn't to a respectable where the defense gave a shit. Brass Jazz says y'all are a bunch of sickos watching this team this year. We had issues with the offense, that it was 2-3-point reliant, too much on Jimmy, and they haven't done anything to address that in these few years. They've just gotten less talented. Now their guy they lean on is gone to create shots and get to the basket and stuff, and that's where they have issues there. But I also think Spo needs to be more creative. I think some reshuffling on the coaching staff would do wonders. Just getting a new offensive coordinator, somebody who can coach a modern offense and not abandon it 5 games into the season because he didn't account for his 2 fucking most talented players. Like that shit bothers me. But we talked about this last game. This season has not been about them developing, not been about winning championships. This has been about them fucking being right and proving that they're right their way, and it's not. And we're seeing how fucking it's blowing up in their faces.
I think it's a couple things. I think I disagree with you on some of the Spo stuff, in that I do think he's tried a lot of things, and I think with what Alf said, that there's just so many levers of power that are just fundamentally broken with this team, that they've tried like 6 different things on offense and none of them work for different reasons. Because like in the beginning of the season, I actually thought the offense was like decent, but it was really clear that Bam was not a fit for that offense. And I think when your best or second best player is just really that held back by your system, I think it's on a coach that you need to find a way to accommodate him and Jimmy and all that. And I think that they've played musical chairs. They've tried 2 bigs. And frankly, as we talked the other day, the offense has not been very good with the 2 bigs on the floor, especially after Khalil's shooting has really come off a cliff, which is going to happen for young players.
Yeah.
And it's just whack-a-mole with problems with Spo, Alf. And I don't disagree with what you're saying, because I do think that some of the stuff I totally don't like. I have not particularly liked how much zone they've played with certain lineups of the rotationally we've talked so much about. I think he's had to find a balance on offense of like, okay, we're really not taking mid-range shots, but also like we got to let Bam operate in that middle of the floor, middle half court area. Tyler shot poorly from 3 recently too, which is going to hurt. You know, I think Duncan, I don't know. There's just, I think it's what everyone's saying, where Alf, you're right that problem is not only talent, organizational, coach, blah, blah, blah. And Franky's right that these players do not complement anything about each other. And Jimmy was very clearly the guy that was kind of making it work enough so that it was not, I mean, this was a house of cards. I mean, it's so evident that none of this meshed. I mean, Tyler, how many shots did he have today? And I know he like scored the ball well and he shot over 50% and he had a good game. Tyler had 31 points. He was 13 for 23 from the field, and he only made 2 threes. He was 2 for 7 from 3. Like, and then Bam's 2 for 7. Like that
but
those
that's
2
not.
things
But how many times
exist.
did Bam not even look at the fucking basket?
No, I agree. And some of that's on.
Like
a lot
that's
of that's on him.
Like that's why. Like it drives me crazy. Some of the hero conversation. Like, what else is the motherfucker supposed to do? Ain't nobody else out there trying to score the ball.
No, and I'm not blaming him.
And then here's
like,
the other thing.
Good.
And we talk about Spo trying things. Sometimes maybe you're trying too much. Because I watch this offense, it takes him 28 seconds to get into the fucking set. I don't know about you guys, but there's only 24 seconds on the fucking shot clock. Like, it's so laborious in today's free-flowing age of offense. Somehow we found a fucking way to look like the fucking 98 Pacers. I swear to God, I do not understand. What the fuck are we doing offensively? Like everybody else is having the time of their lives. I'm watching OKC Boston 130 to 120. I'm watching we're not even playing the same goddamn sport.
The Raptors scored 118 today.
We are just
with largely undrafted guys.
I mean, like some of the best offense we've seen over the last fucking 7-8 years is Kyle Lowry and a bunch of G leaguers.
What a time. What a time. Am I right, boys? Am I right, boys?
Maybe because we weren't thinking so fucking much. But this shit, like
they ran. They pushed the pace. They ran on transition. They ran off makes and misses. Like they were aggressive. And I think to what Frankie said, those teams had identity, right? They were defense, tough as shit. And on offense, they were athletic. They had above the rim players and Caleb Martin and a lot of guys that were making plays.
Wait till Depot gets healthy.
Yeah.
No, I just don't understand this plotting ass offense. We can't blame Jimmy anymore because we blame Jimmy for the last five fucking years.
The slow offense is always a Spo thing. Well, that is just an Eric Spo thing.
Frankie stated that before, that it's just, they don't play with enough pace. They don't play with enough. And I think one of the biggest things that I think I'm frustrated with on the offensive side is a lack of innovation. Like they're spamming similar plays. They're spamming the same DHO. And it's when a team does some scouting, they should have many things to look at. There should be layers to your offense. So that makes it difficult to scout. But with this particular offense, it's very easy to scout, which is why they're able to key certain defenders on Tyler. I can't tell you how many times they showed a double to him and he looked like he was a deer in headlights. Like that makes your offense easy to scout and play and game plan for. On the defensive side, G, you mentioned the zone. My problem with the zone is, especially if you have a team that can shoot really well, and the Clippers can shoot the ball pretty well, especially if you have them adding Bogey is going to be something really interesting down the line. But
he finally had a fucking good game, and it was against Miami.
Well, he has great games against.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, but he wakes up in the morning and is like, I'm playing the Heat today.
I'm cooking them whites.
Yeah, but the thing to me is, if he's gonna try stuff and try stuff on defense, maybe don't 3-2. Maybe switch it up a little bit. Like, especially since I'm not saying we have lockup defenders on this team. I'm saying but there's length enough and size enough that you should be able to play out of the zone where you're not going to get picked apart. And we haven't even talked about Zubac beating the dog crap out of anybody underneath the rim. He had a career night again, which, I mean, he had 30 the last time we played him in LA, and tonight he had 26 or 28. I can't remember which.
26 on 12 for 16 shooting.
Just that's a grown man. He beat the dog crap out of the Heat all night. I think Clippers had 52 or 54 points in the paint. That's just not going to get it done. And here's my thing. I don't want to sit here and beat a dead horse. I do think Bam does well on defense, but when a guy is 7 feet and got some weight on you, you have to work really, really hard. And so Bam is 6'9". He's not 7 feet tall. I think we're talking about a different player if he is 7 feet tall. But there's only so much he can do, and especially if you consider Highsmith is when Ware's off, Highsmith is the guy next. I mean,
I don't really want to do those things because, like, I've seen him guard Embiid in the playoffs when it matters the most, one-on-one, no help. Like, I don't know. And I thought in the finals he did as good a job as you can ask against Jokic without any real help. I mean, they held that Denver offense to even 100 points one of those games in Denver. Like, I don't want to do that with Bam. I do think that what
I saw tonight was less about Bam and Zubac one-on-one. It was more about what the help when Bam would leave Zubac for a second. All Zubac needs is a half a second with his size and his footwork. And the same thing was happening to Kello Ware a lot of the times I just feel like he's just making the wrong decisions.
And he's
young.
also like 200 pounds.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
he had
sometimes
no
it was just
chance.
getting out muscled, and like that
Yeah.
shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But like it just happened way too much, and then and like listen, it's hard to question effort from my couch, but there's just times on like rebounds, I just don't understand what they're doing. Like we talked about the other day, the only one that ever gets a long rebound is Highsmith.
Mm-hmm.
Like the only one who ever chases down a long rebound is Highsmith.
It's so true. I've
If
never
Highsmith-
hold on. I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
Nobody does. Like
No, they lead the league in fucking not boxing out on threes. Every time the other team shoots a three, I feel like they're gonna get an offensive rebound.
Oh, and then listen, the other team is shooting. Tonight was their first miss. And then they made it on the third chance. The other team is shooting 99% on second chance threes against the Heat. Like it happens multiple times every single game. Long rebound, and then like no recovery. Like everyone's like, "What? We didn't get the rebound?" And then some motherfucker, boom, like a Sam Hauser type motherfucker, is just hitting the second chance three. It happens over and over again. And like, and that's why, like, sometimes I'm like, when you guys say like they're still playing with a lot of energy, I'm like, are they? Like,
Yeah, I question that too because there was a play there. I don't remember.
I think they play with energy.
They you know how loud that crowd got when Pelle dove for the ball because they hadn't seen that all fucking season,
all year.
They have not seen that all. All their hustle stats are down.
It's Pelle, it's Haywood, and beyond that, like nobody else. Like
they
respect Duncan Robinson.
I mean,
but there was one play like they had like they got a score, they got like a dunk or something, and immediately after, fucking like 5 seconds later, they give up a transition three because nobody fucking picked up the shooter.
Transition after makes.
Yeah,
this year,
just the lack of fucking attention to detail, and this is why I said like they lost talent because those guys that they've lost were locked in on those fucking assignments. They were not. They were like, hey, we're playing for fucking desperation. We're playing to get our next contract because this contract ain't shit.
I feel like
right
those
now.
guys were like pretty like high IQ guys.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. Like like you can say the guys they have right now are more talented. Like you would rather if you go to trade them. Kilo where he has a lot more talent and for the future, but as of right now, he's not a good player yet. He's got a lot of work to do. You see the flashes of the potential, but they've got work to do. A lot of those guys have work to do. Pelle, for as much as we like Pelle, you see him have to work on his defense, and that's probably his strongest side of the ball.
And we love Haywood, but how many dumb fucking foul? How many times is he going to foul a 3-point shooter?
And he was getting beat off the dribble. He was out of position all the time. Couldn't close out well. Wiggins too. Like I'm like, if Wiggins and Highsmith are playing bad defense, like what are you expecting Tyler, Duncan, and the rest of these guys to do?
Do you remember when they were supposed to be the clamps with Wiggins, Bam?
That's right. Caleb was medium IQ.
No, and I guess, and some of that is like, so I go back to it, right? Like you have guys that have been world-class defenders in the past, right? And then they come here and it's like, what's happening? Like you should expect a line. Like we closed the other night with the lineup that I kind of like, our quote unquote big three, which is hilarious. Wiggins, Bam, Hero, and then you have your two best bench players in Haywood and Duncan, and they couldn't stop anybody, fucking anybody. Like it was horrible. And you're thinking you have Haywood, you have Wiggins, and you have Bam out there. You should have enough defense to make up for having Duncan and Tyler out there. And I'm watching. It wasn't Duncan and Tyler just fucking giving up all the points. Like it was just collectively they played awful. And like you got to wonder, is Spo just not used to having this many good defenders, and we're so used to smoke and mirrors bullshit defense that he doesn't know how to just man up and fucking like. I'm watching every time Wiggins took Harden one-on-one. Harden couldn't do shit. But then we just, I don't know, somehow Duncan ends up on Harden. Like, it just, I don't know. Like, listen, I'm not the X's and O's guy, but like, I'm watching what's happening offensively. And it looks like any run-of-the-mill coach in this league can figure out the Heat's defense on any given night.
Well, one thing I will credit the Clippers on is they do a great job pushing in transition to get the matchups to get discombobulated matchups. So they'll find they'll push in transition. You have to pick up because the Heat are horrible in transition, and they've been all season. So they don't pick up who they're supposed to. They don't run back and turn around and see who's up. So now they're just, I got to pick up my guy. I got to pick up this guy, and then the Clippers are able to take advantage of the mismatches
Frankie,
that way.
There was a possession where Hero gets in and scores a layup, and the Clippers fly on the other end, like inbound the ball and fly. And Tyler's still getting up from making the layup, and the Clippers get a wide open three because they're 4-on-5.
Yeah, that happens all the fucking time because they just have. At this point, the Heat's transition defense is on the scouting report.
And I'm not even saying, like, I'm not even blaming that on the Heat, but you are right in everything you say. But it's like, it's kind of an example of, like, look what happens when, like, you push. Look what you get.
Yeah, I looked it up. So the Heat for the season are the 28th, are 28th in pace since January 23rd. Since the first game that Jimmy was completely off the roster, they are 29th in pace. They are playing slower without Jimmy.
Yeah, we all blame Jimmy.
Yeah, they blame Jimmy for the speed, for the pace of them, and they don't do it. I do think the starting lineup. One last thing, Kyle, before I let you go. I do think the Heat should think about going back to Duncan, because while Davion is playing well, they are helping off of him a lot, and it's mucking up the offense. That the lineup's not working anyways. It's a minus 1.5 net rating going into tonight, so they could tinker on that and try that, see if that helps spark something. But that's just a thought. Go ahead, Kyle.
No, I was just gonna say, I think also one of the problems is there's Alf, you touched on it, and I think I'm gonna kind of take the shovel and dig it out a little bit further. There's a fundamental issue with the offense entirely. Like, it doesn't look functional. And early in the season, I was saying maybe there's something Spo had going with tinkering with, like, the offense. He wants guys in certain spots. It seemed like they were going somewhere fundamentally. But over the last stretch, I want to say the last 20, 25 games, I can't tell what's happening, like, offensively. Like, there's something, there's like a disconnect between what needs to be happening and what's actually happening. And it's not just the offense. We're talking about boxing out, guys. Boxing out. It's just that's basketball. You should box out. The whole point is to get the ball back. The more possessions you have, the more opportunities you have to score the ball. And the crazy thing is, not only is it that we've added more size and we put some more in but we're not boxing out to get the possessions. And then even when we get the possessions, we ran a fast break tonight and I just almost turned the game off because I was like, we had a 3-on-1. How do you ruin a 3-on-1?
That was one of the ones when you were about to cut it from 5 to 3. Pelle smokes a layup. They come back. They hit a 3. It's 8-point lead again. Like, and then they had another 3, and it was like 11-point lead. Like, it was all night, and this happens every game with them. Like, it just happens over and over. Like, they have no margin for error. And even when they create a margin, like a 17 or a 19-point margin, they just figure out a way to fucking smoke it. Like, it's just, and they just don't have a way to make up those deficits. Like, when, like, or they just can't sustain any kind of offense. They can't get stops consistently. Like Frankie said earlier, because they have no identity. Like, they have nothing to go to and say, okay, listen, we have an 8-point lead with 6 minutes left, Clamp City. Like, we're shutting shit down. Like, they don't have that. They don't have, like, and I don't know if they don't have the personnel for it, because I look on the lineup, it looks like they have the personnel to shut down another team if they have to, but they're not doing it. So I don't know if it's a scheme issue. I don't know if it's just a reticence to say we need to clamp. We need to put Tyler on the bench or stuff like that. I just don't think they have the willingness to do certain things. And my thing is, that's fine if your goal is to not win, but they're trying to win. And that's the part that drives me crazy. What is the direction? What are we trying to do? Like when you continue to play Terry 12 fourth quarter minutes, what is the end game, Spence? Like what are we trying to accomplish? Like what are we trying to accomplish with Kyle Anderson? What are we trying to accomplish with Alec Burks? Like what is like if those guys were playing and we were winning and we were like a 60, like trying to get a 5th seed, I could get it. But like you're doing all this
didn't even play today. I mean, like,
like you're doing all this bullshit. You're not even winning either. Yeah. And like so, like tonight doesn't bother me that much. As much as I acted like, as much as I say it bothers me. Like tonight, like you played your young guys. You barely played Terry. No Kyle. No Alec. No Kevin Love. Pelle played a lot. I'd rather see Jaime over Terry at this point because I don't see the point. But like, listen, you played your young guys. You lost. Fine. I can take these, but it's the ones where Terry plays 12 fourth quarter minutes and we still lose. That's the ones that drive me nuts. But still, it all just feels very, very directionless. Because like then you bench Ware to start the second half. Like
and Jaime hit a 3 and then never came back in the game.
Like those are the things that like what is the direction? What is the point? What are we doing here?
A couple things from the post game as we get out of here. Via Ethan Skolnick and Alex Salido, 5 on the floor. Ethan says he got to Ware before the other reporters. His reply to most questions about his progress was, quote, still learning. So not great, Bob. Spo talked a little bit. They asked him about the trapping, which I actually thought was pretty good today. I thought that they got a couple turnovers, and I tweeted out that like they should be a little bit more aggressive on defense, going for steals, going for traps, because that'll help their offense. And Spo says it's all built into our system. I think the more active we are, the more disruptive we are, the more alive we are, the better we are as a basketball team. Doesn't mean we're trapping all the time, but the activity has to be there. I don't know, man. He also said something about you can see the physicality, the width, the girth, but there's functional strength.
He's talking about Ware going reps against.
I don't like how he says that. It's naughty karate all over again. It's just not. It's just, I don't.
I'm so sick of fucking Spo press.
I'm like low-key, like I'm just low-key sick of this.
But
what did he say? What was the fucking tent comment the other day?
Yeah, you fold up the tent.
You can fold up the tent, or you can keep forging.
What the fuck is that, dude? What the fuck?
But here's now. Let me like listen.
Hold on, chat's right. Girth is a hilarious.
Chat says too much girth to switch bust.
But you know what? It's like if imagine like when you're playing organized sports and you're on a losing streak and you go into the locker room and the fucking coach says we have to pitch a tent and forge and blah blah. At some point you get so sick of this shit, right? Like you start to tune it the fuck out, and I think that's what's happening. Like I like it's the 4th year of the Big 3 Heat where like nobody wanted to hear fucking Spo's mouth anymore. Ray was done with it. Shane was done with it. Everybody was done with his fucking mouth. Like at some point you start to tune this shit out. Like especially when you just keep fucking losing and all this forging, motherfucker. I've been forging all fucking night. In 48 minutes of fucking forging, and I just lost to the fucking Hawks. I just lost to the fucking Bulls. I just lost to the Hornets. Like people, at some point, you start to tune this shit out when everything this motherfucker says he wants to sound like a goddamn philosopher. How about you fucking draw up a goddamn play, motherfucker?
Get on the clipboard, damn it!
Philosophizer.
Alf, did you see that there was a game winner in the Bucks game? And Darvin Ham is on the sideline with his hands in his pocket, looking away from the actual play. Spo's approaching that. Did you see that picture, Frankie? Did you find that?
I got you,
dude. It was like it's honestly like it's up there with the Muhammad Ali picture and the Dwayne Wade, LeBron James one. It's like one of the fun. And that I saw that picture and I was like, oh boy, imagine if Darvin Ham was coaching the Heat right now.
Spo was over here reading fucking haikus and shit.
Dude, that shit. It's a fucking. He looks photoshopped. It's a hand.
Our friend of the program, Jasmine Watkins, says Darvin Ham stays in his pocket more than Tom Brady.
Okay, so a little fun on the way out. Listen, we gotta make. This is a Alf. We're full into the tank. I mean, it's fucking tankathon time, ladies and gentlemen. All right, then we're running it. Are we running it? We're gonna run it 3 times. The sim lottery. Let's go. First time. Okay. The Heat are 11th. Do we take that? Do we like that?
We don't, but
It's not bad.
It's not bad. We need music. We're gonna really build out this segment that I call pressing a button on air. All right, take two.
I got you.
Take two. Okay, they're 11 again. That's not very good. That's 2-11. Where did they pick Winslow? Was it 11th?
It was 10.
It was 10. Okay, so we can't even get Justice. Oh, but we would get Devin Booker, so that works. All right, last time we were Alf. You ready?
Yeah, so excited.
Segment. You look
Elated.
All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Oh,
Trust the process.
3 for 3, 11.
Yeah.
We got to Sage G.
If you scroll down, do they have the do you have a 22nd?
22nd. Okay. Oh, that's right. We got to keep that in
That's
mind.
2 picks.
We got
I'm not mad at that.
we got to keep that in mind. For
You
next
know what?
time.
I don't. Okay. What I don't understand is, and I'm sorry, you guys know how I feel about the fucking draft, right?
Here we go.
All these fucking Johnny Flynn's out here fucking killing the game, okay? Like this whole idea that just because you get a top draft pick, it's not going to be fucking Michael Beasley. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? If you go back and you look at all the drafts where the Heat picked 15th, 13th, whatever, and you go back and do a redraft, they got a top 5 talent every fucking year, right? With Bam, with Tyler, I mean, Jaime, pretend it's last year.
Jury's out.
Talal Ware this year, like he's in at top of the rookie of the year voting, whatever. Or I don't know if he is anymore. Anyway, don't fucking listen to all that.
No.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, it does, like, this whole idea that you're gonna, first of all, you're not gonna get the number 1 pick. You're not gonna get it, right? You're not gonna get a top 5 pick, most likely. Maybe you do.
Clip this.
But who the fuck knows what that shit is gonna turn out
Hedging
to?
his bets.
This shit is fucking Family Guy mystery box. Like, just fucking try to fucking win, like, or try to have a direction. This whole idea of like this hope for the fucking draft. Who gives a shit? Every time,
Alf, the direction's playing, baby.
Listen, like, we're gonna be in the play-in no matter what. Like this, and then just try to win some games. I would rather lose in a first round series than sit here and fucking have hope in the goddamn draft. All right, like this shit.
That's what you did in this last season. That's what you had last season.
Yes, and it was fun.
That was fun. That was fun to you.
Would it be more fun to be rooting on draft night? Who gives a fuck? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I learned a lot about that team that lost in 5 games. I learned so much.
I mean,
we were 1-1 going to Miami. That was fun.
No,
1-1 coming home.
Okay, listen. I like basketball. I'd rather watch 5 fucking playoff games than one sorry fucking night of the fucking draft.
The
draft is the most boring shit in the fucking world. And okay, if they got a top 10 pick this past season, who the fuck were they going to get that's going to be fucking game changing? Like, who are all these fucking great rookies this year?
You don't know.
Wasn't it a shit draft this past year?
A
great draft. We always every year it's gonna be a fucking great draft, and there's a fucking 19 bucks out of the first 23.
No, I mean everyone said that last year wasn't like a top heavy talent draft.
And I would rather have the 5 fucking playoff games.
I'd rather watch. They want this guy. His name is PJ Cooper.
I already made that shit up. Who the fuck?
He has so many pimples. And
I thought it was Cooper Flag. Now it's fucking PJ Cooper.
I don't even know. Okay,
Cooper Flag.
Same thing.
All these fucking guys. Listen, Cooper Flag may turn out to be great. We ain't getting him. I don't care what happens. We can lose every game the rest of the season. I'm guaranteeing you guys, we ain't getting no fucking Cooper Flag. Like, get over it. It's not fucking happening. What we're gonna get, we're gonna get the 11th pick. All right,
good, actually,
or we're gonna get the 14th pick. Either way. It's okay. This whole rooting for the fucking draft shit. Who gives a fuck?
I want the Edgecombe guy.
Draft. The guy will be good for 6 fucking years, and by then, if the Heat suck, he's gonna go sign a fucking contract somewhere else.
I want the Edgecombe guy.
Fucking who the fuck are we gonna pick that's gonna make a fucking difference in my lifetime? By the time this fucking guy makes a difference, Miami will be fucking underwater, and we will be annexed by fucking.
And
Canada.
Everything is computer.
Trade for 50-year-old Michael Jordan. Why don't we do that?
We're going to be underwater. We're not going to have Social Security. We are not going to have a functioning DMV. Wait, all those things are already happening.
The only time we ever drafted somebody and it actually worked out after years is Dwayne Wade.
Like, should have made the playoffs instead. Fuck that. Should have made the playoffs.
No, what I'm trying to say is you just try to win. And honestly, and everybody, and if I bet people were fucking mad that they won an extra game that year. Oh, we won an extra game. We're not going to get the third pick. We're not going to get the fourth pick. And no, it worked out. You got Dwayne Wade. Just try to win. Just try to win.
Who knows what Darko could have done in a Heat uniform?
Exactly. We fucking end up getting Darko or fucking anyway, TJ Ford or
Chris
some
Bosh.
shit.
Oh wait, he played here anyway.
Chris Kaman.
We still got everybody out of that draft that mattered.
Yeah, fuck that. We won.
Thanks to Dwayne Wade.
So I had to kind of close out our show, which we went super long today, but it's okay. Alf's back. We were having fun. I put up a poll today, and it was
wait till it's fucking 2033, and me and Frankie are arguing about this fucking draft because that's when this draft will fucking matter. By the way,
who's had the worst Heat performance this season? And I want to go around the room here. It's between Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, Terry Rozier, or specifically Jason Jackson on the play-by-play radio call.
You know who missed out? Miami Heat beat.
Miami Heat beat and Hyman. Hyman and Miami Heat beat could have been on this list.
We've had some fantastic shows this
That's
year.
what I'm saying. I think we've had way more to show than these guys.
We've had some stinkers too.
Yeah, but I mean, listen.
It's usually like a West Coast game, and it's like Frankie and like a half awake Lou, and like that's not your fault, man. Like
somebody said Brian Goins. Brian Goins might have had the worst year out of all these people, but not the worst performance.
we read a podcast where we're talking about the Jimmy trade scenarios, and G's like, it's not gonna happen. Who gives a shit? And Goins is talking about the salary cap in 2045.
Those are the good old days. So I want to go around the room here. Alf, who do you think's had the worst performance this season?
No, this is the best poll you've ever created.
I think everyone has a case.
Listen, as somebody who like on the way to the airport and from the airport had to listen to Jason Jackson on the radio and had no idea what the fuck was happening.
All he wants to do is get to his catchphrases. I don't know. God. I never know what's happening. I walk out of the house to go pick something up, put the game on the radio. I have no idea who has the ball.
Fucking clue. Like he'll just be like, and we are here in the Miami Heat arena. Miss three. And I'm like, who missed the three? What team?
What's the score? He doesn't say the score ever. I don't know what's happening.
Never the score. Never like you remember like
situation, anything.
Remember Mike English would be like right to left, Mike Bibby passes through
top side.
Top side, blah, blah. So you knew where they were on the court. Jason Jackson's like, it's a pretty good game. We're having a lot of fun here. I had a white guy earlier that was delicious. Onions and mustard. Miss three. Like, what happened? What the fuck just happened? No fucking clue.
Do you remember
is he ordering lunch or is he...
Do you remember when Mike would overreact to any fucking run? Paul Millsap hits a timeout. Eric Spoelstra cost hits a three. Eric Spoelstra calls timeout, and the lead has dwindled to 27.
Dude, he one time said
they're the Keystone Cops out there.
Dude, Mike Inglis one time said they're clinging to a 20-point lead.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Jason Jackson, like, you have no idea what the fucking lead is. You have no fucking clue, like nothing.
He's been abysmal. And Eric Reed today said Derrick Jones Jr. checks in for the Heat. So the TV broadcast. I struggle. It's been a long season for all of us,
bro. Listen, ever since they moved them back from that fucking, they moved them back from right next to the court. Like they've been struggling. Like he's calling white guys, black guys, like all kinds of shit. Like if you light skin out there, you would call Duncan Robinson.
Duncan with Davion the other day.
Well,
they're identical.
It's happened to the best of us.
Who would?
But no, I'm sorry. I voted Terry Rozier.
Okay, you voted Terry Rozier. Frankie, who did you vote for?
Pat Riley.
Ooh, he has a case. He lost a superstar for Andrew Wiggins. Certainly. That's a good choice.
He brought the D Wade statue. Terry Rozier, Jason Jackson, all his fault.
That's true. Kyle Scarlett, who would you vote for? Of these four esteemed.
If I could have voted for Terry Anspo or Sperry, as Alf loves to call them,
we needed all the above.
I would have voted for both.
I would have voted Terry a third term if I could. He's clearly, and the audience says with 52% of the audience says Terry Rozier. Alpha, are you hosting Celtics Heat on Friday?
The Wi-Fi in Philly is good.
Okay, well, tune in for that. That's a big night. Will the Heat make it 6 in a row? Will they let Peyton Pritchard and the GOP run over them?
God.
Find out on Friday night.